You know, the best thing about working on your own car is that feeling of satisfaction when you finally turn those wrenches, figured out a problem, and you know, now it's just time to go on a nice long country drive down a back road and just, you know, sit there and cruise in your car for hours on end. So we're going to do that now. Oh, yeah. Wasn't that satisfying? Welcome back to Janky AF. And welcome back to Janky AF. Day number 2 here, the Buick. Had some great progress yesterday. See the grills firing up. I see some corn there. So I get surprised every day. I have to pick a number, and that's the corresponding meal I get. So I do like fresh corn on the cob in the summertime. So all signs point to a good meal there. Last we left it, we got everything, or we got the upper intake reinstalled. We tried to turn the car on just to not crank it over because we don't have coolant in the engine yet. Just see if we had any gas leaks, and indeed we had a gas leak on something that we didn't even really finick with. I mean, we had to remove them as part of removing the fuel rail, but we got a little gas leak coming from there. So we're probably gonna, I guess, troubleshoot that and then go from there. I guess after there it's starting to put coolant back in, I would imagine, right?
Unless you want to do the water pump.
Oh yeah, water pump,
serpentine
belt.
Shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah, so we do have a couple little odds and ends to do. But that's the day ahead of us. So here we go, Jake. What do you think? So while we were in here doing all this jazz, we figured let's put a new water pump on, put a new gasket on it. So to get that off, and we figured do a new serpentine belt. So there's your pulley, which holds tension on your serpentine belt. So we're just undoing the bolt slightly on the water pump here, and then we're going to do the tensioner to get the serpentine belt off. And it's kind of a while you're down there thing. So while we're down there trying to get the water pump off, we realized that the motor mount is in the way. So we got to take the motor mount off now. And the thing about that is, you know, you're getting into the structure of the engine, and we ran into a little issue, which I will describe now. All right, welcome back. Look at this. Raised vehicle and supported securely on jack stands, and position a jack under the engine oil pan. So that's what we did. You can maybe see there, we got the, you're not going to be able to see that good, but the oil pan is on these 3 blocks of wood on jack stands and our catch-all bucket. And so we had to take the motor mount actually off, which is this here, which actually looks in good shape, which is good. And then this little sort of bracket that kind of attaches to the motor mount. Here's our old water pump, which doesn't look bad. The gasket's obviously dirty. And down in here, you can see where the water pump was. And the surface is nice and clean. A bunch of coolant, obviously. So we got to clean this whole surface up and make it look nice before we put the new gasket on. And like all of our things, we're trying to do nicer gaskets. So I got the Felpro gasket. You know, Janky Thanky. While we're down here, might as well do it. Do it right. So clean this area up. Alright, so I spent quite a while just cleaning this thing up. You know, make it clean while you're down there. If you're ever going to sell the vehicle, you can be pretty confident that, you know, you've done the job right. So get all the gunk off of that surface where the water pump meets. And when we were taking this apart, we noticed, you know, the coolant in here was already yellow. Now, originally these GM products had Dex Cool, which is like the reddish orangish stuff. And, you know, you can hear the debates on the forums forever, which one's better. If it's Dex Cool, leave it, or if you switch over, you gotta, you know, flush the entire system with water, make sure it's good. If you keep the Dex Cool, you want to make sure there's no air in it because it can gunk up, yada, yada, yada. Luckily, this was already switched over to the yellow standard green stuff, so we just kind of kept going with that. I was a little uneasy about the Dex Cool. So I was kind of glad that it was switched over to the yellow-green. So we just, you know, stayed with that, and it seems like it's a universal product. So just as an aside, if you're working on one of these, you know, 90s GM's cars, that's sort of a hot debate topic. But clean it up nice, put the nice new Felpro gasket on there. Try to make sure it seats real nice. Always a little nerve-wracking when you're doing it yourself, but then again, A lot of fun too, and thank you again to Scott. It's so much fun just to work on these things and learn as you go. Alright, welcome back to Janky F. So we have a brand new beautiful water pump with a nice gasket on it. If I can get this light out of the way. Well, that was fun. So, brand new shiny thing down there. New gasket. Now and we got a new bolt set too. We brought new bolts for it as well. Why not? These have a torque spec too. I believe the small ones are 120 inch-pounds. 125 inch-pounds. The bigger ones are 320. Oh,
315.
315, somewhere around there. So check your torque specs. But that looks great. And the other thing that's going on is, thank God, this I don't know if you noticed in previous videos, but this little plastic piece that holds the spark plugs on was out of position, and it was really just driving me nuts. So we got that back on. Scott did that while I was cleaning up the water pump area. But unfortunately, one of the spark plug cables kind of tore or became a little too jankified. So we're gonna do new plugs and wires, which it probably needed anyways, 100,000 miles. So maybe we'll even get lucky and get some fancy red ones or something like that. Maybe a janky do-banky, but we'll take anything we can get. So we might have Scott's father, the great Joe, do a parts run for us. If not, we'll have to go get him. But here we go, onward and upward. We gotta get the motor mount back on now.
No, pulley first.
Oh yeah, pulley. Yeah, we got some work ahead of us.
Yeah, we got some work.
Yeah, so we're gonna turn some more wrenches and keep going. Well, you know, they call it turning wrenches for a reason, because it is a lot of turning wrenches and using the impactor there, which is a very, very nice luxury to have. So I went ahead and installed the motor mount. Wasn't too bad, just gotta, you know, find your angles and then go ahead and put the serpentine belt on, get that all buckled up. Really nice to have an extra set of hands, especially for the tensioner. Make sure it's a good tension. And after that, we did some spark plugs. Of course, Scott works about 8 times as fast as I do. Now this being not a longitudinally, but a transverse mounted V6, those ones in the back are a little bit of a pain to get to considering how big the engine bay is on this 95 Buick. But we managed to get those in. Obviously, as you can see here, Scott working much faster than I do, was able to get some of those back ones in. I kind of chipped back onto the front ones. And after that, it was time to put some coolant in, which is great. So get the coolant in just enough, you know, to start the car, and then we're going to add more once it's started. And we're almost just about ready to fire it up again, which is very exciting. All right, so here we are. Moment of truth. New everything, new water pump, serpentine belt, spark plugs and wires, intake, obviously. Anything else? New coolant. So, we're going to start the vehicle and then sort of keep pushing coolant in because the coolant's got to get into the engine. So keep pouring coolant in. We also have to keep an eye on our little sort of gas inlet there, make sure that's not leaking, but it wasn't when we ran the fuel pump, so it's good. All right, do it. Yeah. All right, let's start it up. I haven't started this thing in, geez, I don't know, a long time.
Actually, just turn it first. I'll check the fuel leak.
Yep.
Yeah, nothing.
Good.
Yeah.
Crank it.
Yeah.
Going down. You want me to stay by the car? Oh, it's smoking. Just burning gas, you think?
No.
Turn it off. What's it smell like?
Not fuel.
Oh, it's probably the plastic that fell off that stupid firewall.
Probably. Right on your manifold.
Smells like plastic.
I don't see anything, but you're probably right.
Get in there with a vacuum. There was this plastic, you can see this, you can see it. This sort of, all that plastic, you see the foam behind it, it's sort of falling apart. Which is great.
Did a lot of that fall on there?
A lot fell down. I don't know where it
Okay.
fell to, but Yeah, there was definitely pieces falling off when I was in there.
Well, it might be better than the vacuum, just compressed air.
Yeah, oh, you got that?
Well, yeah, I gotta start the
Yep.
compressor that's gonna make noise.
And if it was a little piece, it probably burned up pretty quick. But also, I don't know how it get that hot so quickly.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Alright, well that was unexpected. Try this again. Do the same thing, I'll just turn it once and then...
Yep. Looks good.
Yeah?
Yep.
Alright, here we go. Yeah, a little bit. What's that?
Not smoking now, man.
Yeah, it is a little bit.
Is it?
Yeah. It's not a wire or something. You want me to shut it off again?
Yeah, kill it. We don't know. I don't know that.
Yeah, lift it up and look underneath. That's where it's coming from. Maybe.
Could it be a wire? Let's see how. Yeah, let's lift it up. Alright, going up.
Yep.
Yeah, well, see all that plastic on the ground.
Yep.
I don't see anything wrong with that area. I mean, obviously you can't see down
Yeah.
past where the plugs are, but it's definitely not the plugs of the plug wires.
Is there any other electronics in there?
Not really. Mirror.
Is that oil coming out from
Where?
the, well, just that's,
Probably seeping out of there, yeah.
yeah. I'm not saying we need to do it now, but you think at some point we should do a valve cover gasket?
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, though. I mean, look at all that shit that's all.
Yeah. Oh, I noticed when I was doing it.
It has to be dry.
It smells like it. It's like you don't want it to catch fire.
No.
Now, if you're paying close attention, we may have just diagnosed the problem, but this is the tricky and the great thing about problem solving is that we have two hypotheses now, and we're sticking with one for now. So we'll play this one out for the drama and fire it up one more time for you. Good? Not getting better.
Oh, it looks like it's coming out of your oxygen sensor.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's coming out right around your oxygen sensor.
Can I kill it?
Oh, hold on. It's coming out of your exhaust joint, too. See your exhaust joint right here? See where your
Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, so is that just exhaust coming out?
I think so.
Doesn't look white, does it?
I mean, obviously that's a problem.
Yeah.
Well, we can try to tighten that oxygen sensor, but then we can tighten the exhaust and see what happens.
Yeah.
But short of getting a new exhaust.
Yeah. So I'm looking up exhaust systems for the Buick because it seems like we might have a exhaust leak coming from right out of the engine block. And one of the questions that pops up on Google is, how much is a 1995 LeSabre worth? And the internet tells me the value of a 95 LeSabre ranges from $145 to $977. So we're going to retitle a series, how much money can we dump into a car that's not worth anything? Alright, we're gonna start it one more time. We had a spark plug socket that wouldn't come off. We wrestled with that for 20 minutes or so, finally got it off. So we tightened the O2 sensor and we tightened the exhaust. We raised the car up, tightened that. So we're gonna try to turn it on one more time, see if it smokes as badly, and here we go. There it comes. Not quite as bad. Well, maybe it's picking up.
The problem is with this car, the way it's, well, it's a, you know, transverse V6.
Mm-hmm.
You got this manifold dumps into this crossover pipe, which comes into the front manifold.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting into a donut there, a gasket there, a gasket back here.
Mm-hmm.
Some hardware to attach all the, you know, the two pipes.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's not doable, but you run into a lot of junction points where you're gonna have to, you know, if you put all this together and then you got a leak here, then you got to buy a new crossover pipe, and if you got a leak on that one, you got to buy a new, you know, you get into a lot of
what ifs.
So that's, I mean, it's not too hard of a job to do, but it's a lot of reversal of what we just did. You know, we got to take out all the spark plugs again.
Maybe if we get the car totally fixed, I'll just give it to you.
I don't need another one. I don't think.
You and me both. Alright, that's probably it for today. So, Janky, do Thanky. Well, that face just about says it, doesn't it? Car Wizard has a great video on, you know, money pits, essentially, buying these used cars you think you're getting such a deal on. And, you know, I kind of intentionally make these videos long, probably at the detriment to my channel, but I like to show in real-world terms just the trials and tribulations of not only fixing these problems, but just diagnosing them in the first place. So, there will be a conclusion to this video coming soon. Janky, do thank you so much if you've stuck around this long, and we will see you again soon. Janky, do thank you.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.